Hey folks, it's Woody here at USA Made Blade, and I am very excited about this video and very excited to show off to you the new Hinderer Eklipse 3-inch Harpoon Spanto. So we just got these in a few days ago and sold out very quickly, and thankfully we have more coming very soon, and even have them up for pre-order on our site, because this is going to be very popular, especially the more people start to find out about it. So as I said, it's the Hinderer Eklipse 3-inch model. It is not, it is technically a Gen 1, because it is not the 3.5-inch Eclipse, and it has never been made before. So let's jump in and just talk about it real quick. Probably the first thing that you're going to notice off the bat when I flipped it over a second ago is that, yes, we are a liner lock. And this is actually what Rick calls a heavy liner lock. And you'll notice why, because these are very thick liners on this knife. So titanium liners, great lockup on these. Lockup is early, but very solid. And it's been consistent on the ones that customers ordered when we got the first batch in, and asked us to check them out. They were very consistent on where that lockup was. They were very consistent on how great they flip, how smooth they are. So the next thing you're gonna notice outside of that liner lock, hopefully you're gonna notice, is that these screws are domed. And it's actually very cool. Just the handle screws and the pivot screw, even the pivot nut, are all domed. Next thing we'll show off here, it is on the Trolley pivot system. So you do have the option of switching it up from bearings to phosphor bronze to Teflon. And then next, there is no steel lock insert. Don't really need it on this knife, especially with it being a heavy liner lock, as you know, you're not going to be able to get in there and put that pressure on it, and the lockup's plenty solid. So you know, they still wanted to keep that size somewhat the same. So let's go over overall specs, and then we'll bring in some other knives for comparisons. And oh well, let me show you some other things here. Everything on here is chamfered. It's nice and sculpted, rounds off, angles off really well, so it truly fits the hand. You know, when you're putting pressure on there, your hot spots are very minimal. Great little thumb ramp here on that Harpoon Spanto, and I've got big hands. I have no problem getting all 4 fingers on here. Feels good in the hand. So just a very well done knife, especially for a 3-inch knife. This thing's, we haven't been as excited about a knife this size since the half track came out. So that'll tell you something, because you guys know we're complete total half track nuts. Like I said, action on them's great, but let's give you some specs here real quick before we take off into showing you guys some comparisons. So overall length is 7.25 inches. I'm gonna flip it around and show you guys a little bit more of it while we're doing it. Cutting edge is 3 inches, and closed we're at 4.25. It's a good looking knife closed as well. Weight on these is 4.2 ounces. So considering how overbuilt it is, that weight is a very good weight. Let's see. I think I've covered everything else I had on my little cheat sheet, so just wanted to make sure of that. So let's get you guys into comparison this sucker with some other knives. So, excuse me. So what we're gonna do, we normally would start you off with Hinderers, but there's a lot of things I wanna go over when we get into Hinderers. So we're gonna start off a little differently. So let's jump in, and we're just gonna kind of go from the back of the pile here to the front. But here it is. So we're gonna throw in some Benchmades. Here it is compared to the Benchmade Mini Barrage. And this is just mostly giving you guys that aren't near a knife shop and aren't sure how to compare it. If you've got some of these knives, maybe it'll give you an idea of what you're looking at here. here it is compared to a Benchmade full-size Griptilian, and trying to lift that up a little. The angles might throw you off a little. I just want to make sure it doesn't. That's pretty darn good comparison. Let's throw in some Chris Reeve knives. As you know, Rick and all the Chris Reeve people are very good friends, and excited. A little teaser in this video. We've got more Chris Reeve knives finally coming in. I think in a couple days. So if you're watching this, keep an eye out for that. But here it is compared to the large Sebenza 21. Probably what'll help you guys out more, you Chris Reeve owners, here it is compared to a small Sebenza 21. So as you can see from the small Sebenza, we've got a little bit more blade length and definitely a little bit more handle length, but we're also, I mean, we're just, you know, at standing position, we're definitely a lot wider and then definitely thicker on the handle. So the Eclipse 3" is definitely going to fill your hand up more. Let's run through some ZTs. I got a couple shameless plugs in here, but let's start with some Hinderer modeled ZTs. This is the ZT 393, which was modeled after the Eclipse. So this would be modeled after the 3.5-inch Eclipse. And as you can tell, this is why I say it's almost a sub frame lock, because that's what this is with the Eclipse, is more of a sub frame. That's kind of what you see a little bit with this, not as much so. So it's definitely still a liner lock, but it's pushing close. But anyway, let's show you guys the handle thickness on that. So as you can tell, damn near the same handle thickness. Actually, I think the Eclipse is just slightly thicker. Shameless plug, no, let's not go to the shameless plug yet. ZT 0562 tie. Ooh, let's switch that around here. So, which is modeled after the XM18 3.5. If you look at that, if you really line up, if you get these pivots lined up, look at how close that handle is. I mean, the handle's only about a 1/4 inch longer here on the ZT, but you get that extra about 1/2 inch of blade on it. So hopefully that gives you an idea about the handle on these. Shameless plug for a minute, but also throw in some ZTs that are very popular with us. Yeah, I'm not sure which way I want to go with that. Yeah, let's do it the other way. So this is the ZT 0456, which has been very popular for us. This has a 3.25-inch blade. As you can tell, you get a little bit more blade length out of this, but look at that handle. Man, the handle's about the same. So anyway, for those that have a 456, obviously the 456 is a lot heavier. Probably the most comparable, and unfortunately we've sold out of the 5.66s, so I don't have one of those to compare it to, but which is also a Hinderer design. But the ZT 0609, damn near spot on in overall length. I mean, it's really close. Get a little bit more blade length on that 609, but we're not talking about much of a difference. Where you're going to notice the difference is definitely in the thickness. And the shameless plug is the fact that I'm showing off our anodizing, in case I forgot to mention that. Next up is another shameless plug that I got to go with, but it'll help you guys out. As you know, we've been big Southern Grind dealer for a long time. We have got a great relationship with them, and we're very excited. You guys will be the first to ever see this. We've not even announced it. We've not shown it anywhere, but this is our new, one of our new exclusive Southern Grind Spider Monkeys. And this is exclusive to us with the red G10, and Spider Monkey has been a big seller for us, so we hope it'll continue to be, especially with this beautiful dark red G10. And but I had to throw a Spider Monkey in, mostly just because of that overall length. You get a little bit more blade length with the Spider Monkey, and once again, you're definitely getting a bigger handle, and just overall stance and stature width of the knife is definitely thicker or wider on the Eclipse. Thicker, wider, one of the two. So let's jump into some Hinderers. A few of these I'm going to kind of move through because they're just to give you guys an idea. They're not going to help you out otherwise. See if I can get that to focus in a little better. There it is. So let's start with the Jurassic. And Jurassic's been, we've always touted the Jurassic, I think, as one of the hardest work knives that Hinderer's ever made, mostly just because of that drop edge. But honestly, we're not far off from the Jurassic, except for the fact we're a little bit more compact in size with handle and width across. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea. Let's throw in an XM18 3.5. This is the only one we have left in stock. So it's the Wharncliffe Fatty. And as you can see, I mean, obvious differences. But that's probably not what you guys are jumping in here to see. Last one before we get into more detail on some of these comparisons, just had to do a quick shout out. This is the Thai model of the Hinderer Full Track that was just discontinued. This one's mine because we're sold out of them. So hate that the Thai Full Track was discontinued, but wonderful knife, and just threw it in there because some of you guys, that's the only Hinderer you own, and I know that for a fact. Not really sure what order to go in from here, but let's go half track. So as you guys know, we've sold out of our half track Spanto Gen 2s with the Trolley pivot, but we've got a couple half track Gen 1s that are stunning. And as you can tell, I mean, biggest difference between the half track and this is the half track is even more compact. Half track's actually a little thicker feeling, maybe a little. And obviously the half track's got the Thai frame lock, but you know, this thing, I gotta say, if I haven't said it already, is the Eclipse 3" has been my favorite knife since the half track has come out. Still love the half track, but this is very well done. So if you like the half track, I feel pretty confident in telling you you're gonna like this. So next up, excuse me for a second, I'm losing my voice. Let's put in a full-size Eclipse. So here is where I wanted to spend a little time. On the full-size Eclipse, basically all he did was turn the full-size Eclipse, shrink it down, and turn it into a liner lock. Outside of that, that's why this model isn't called the skinny or anything like that, because it's not a skinny. It is just a liner lock, but it is a full thickness. Is the full thickness of the regular Eclipse. It is the full thickness of the blade. It's just a smaller version with a very heavy, thick liner. So, you know, we line up those pivots, and you can tell you're getting that little bit of a ½ inch more of a blade and a little bit more handle. So, hopefully for those that have an Eclipse, that helps. As far as, once again, disclaimer, we don't have any of the Eclipse in stock, 3.5 inch. That one's mine as well. So the next one's, it's kind of two in a row. So this is the frame lock version of the XM18 3". And then let's go ahead and throw in the XM18 3" skinny. So show those off a little bit. Back this up. This one doesn't sit the same with the clip, so I've got to adjust it just a little. But as you can tell, I mean, we're damn near the same overall length. We really are. Where you're going to tell the difference in this is you got a much stubbier blade, much stubbier handle, and then compared to both of them, you're going to get, in my opinion, I get more purchase on it. I get more grip in the hand. You get a good grip in the hand with the 3", but with this slightly wider handle, to me, the Eclipse feels better. I like them all, don't get me wrong, but let's take the regular 3" away, and let's talk about those big differences between the skinny and the 3" Eclipse. So this is where there's been some confusion on the market, because everybody assumes since he did a liner lock on the Eclipse that it's also a skinny, but it is not. And where that difference is obviously those much thicker liners and then the thicker steel on the Eclipse. So you are going to notice a difference. On top of that, Probably one of the bigger complaints on the 3-inch skinny liner lock was that the liner was not offset. Excuse me. So they definitely corrected that with this. The liner lock is very easy to access. There's no sponginess to it. There's no reaching around, having to get in front of it. You can do it from the side. There's no problems there. So those concerns were definitely addressed. And then the other thing that was addressed is that the texturing on this G10, some people said was tearing their pockets up. Well, this G10 on this is definitely smoother, but there's still some texturing to it, but it's not going to tear your pocket up as much, but still good grip in the hand with that G10. So those are kind of the differences there. A lot of people seem to think that because he went with that liner, like I said, he went skinny, but you notice skinny here, no skinny here. So that's it, boys and girls. Like I said, we've got these up again for pre-order, but hopefully by the time you're watching this, we already have them in stock. We're expecting them very soon. You're going to hear a lot from us about this knife. It's like I said, it is my favorite Hinderer to come out in the smaller size since the half track. So we hope you'll pick one up. They're available now at usamadeblade.com. Say that again because it's gotten late, but usamadeblade.com. And as always, we appreciate you watching.